Welcome back to the session on classification of kingdom Protista. In the previous presentation, we looked into the first two groups under kingdom Protista, that is the fungal protists and algal protists. We saw that the fungal protists, it is divided into two, the phylum Microsparidia and phylum Microsparidia. Microsparidia, the phylum includes slime molds, and there are two kinds of slime molds. We have already seen that is acellular and cellular. Okay, so acellular slime mold, an example is Physarum. You can see these yellow colored growth over here. It is one example. That is it's a species of Physarum, and it is an example. It is an example for acellular, or what we call as a plasmodial slime mold. Okay. Now the next one we have is the cellular slime molds, and example is Dictostelium. And we saw that the cellular slime molds are free-living, what you call amoeboid forms, and they move by amoeboid like pseudobodial-like structures, and they feed on soil bacteria. Okay, so this is the Dictostelium. So you can see the structure of Dictostelium. Okay, these are all microscopic. Okay, fine. Now, when we speak about the next group, we have Microsparidia, and Microsparidia, they are spore-like, very minute intracellular parasites, and we have already seen that they are obligate intracellular parasites. Okay. Now, algal protists or the Protophyta, it includes like 6 phyla, and we saw that phylum Dinoflagellata. It includes the bioluminescent forms which are marine or freshwater, and we also found that we do have to study in detail the example Noctiluca. Okay, that is what it is given in red, because all those given in red, all those phyla we have to study in detail with an example each. Okay, so Dinoflagellata, the example is Noctiluca, and we have one more example, that is Serratium, and I gave this picture because it is there as part of the practical part. Okay, so this is a Serratium. It's an example under what you call Dinoflagellata. The next phylum, it is phylum Basilarophyta, and commonly it is referred as Diatoms. And one example you can see over here, it is Navicula. This is the one, and we have Diatoma, we have Pinularia. All these are coming under Diatoms. Okay, they are Basilarophyta. The diatoms, they are unicellular, or sometimes we can see it as colonial, and they are non-flagellate, alga-like photosynthetic protists. You can see the green color because of the presence of what you call the chlorophyll. Okay, very important thing which we can find in the case of diatoms, that is actually the diatoms, they have a silica-containing cell wall. Okay, and after their death, the diatoms, once they die out, the silica-containing cell wall, they just drop down to the ocean floor, and a mass of these what you call silica-containing diatomic cell walls, they form what is known as a diatomaceous earth or diatomaceous ooze. Okay, and these diatomaceous earth, it is actually extracted or mined commercially, and is used for the production of many different kinds of commercial products. Okay, they are used for making insulating bricks, or it is used in as a filtering medium in sugar refineries, etc. There are plenty of what you call it is being used in plenty of purposes of industries. Okay. Kaiselgar, it is a commercial product prepared from the diatomaceous earth, and so it is actually diatomaceous fossil. It is a silica-containing cell. These diatoms, they are found. We can see that they are found both aquatic as well as terrestrial. Once it is aquatic, most of the forms we can see both what you call freshwater as well as marine. Okay, and most aquatic forms, they are planktons, that is, they are free floating. Some may be found benthic, that is in the bottom floor, and some may be found growing on plants or algae in the aquatic ecosystem. The terrestrial forms, when they are found on land, it may be found attached to rock surfaces, and such forms are referred as epilithic. Okay, epi means upon, and lithic or lithos means like rock. Okay, so epilithic, and it may be found upon other plants or tree surfaces, and such groups are known as epiphytic. Right. So there are different kinds of diatoms. We can see there with respect to the habitat they are found. We can have aquatic as well as terrestrial, and diatoms, just like the what you call dinoflagellates, they are one of the primary producers, especially in the case of what you call marine ecosystem, are very important primary producers. Okay, and example we have seen it as a naviculate. Now the next group we have is phylum Euglenophyta. The example is Euglena. Is obviously you are very familiar with Euglena, just like Paramecium or amoeba. You have been learning from your school days. Euglenophyta includes unicellular, green or non-green aquatic organisms, and there are plenty of examples. One of the most common one is the Euglena. Okay, you can see the green color and the flagella over here. Okay, we are familiar with the structure. Now the next group, it is a phylum Cryptophyta. Cryptophyta, it is relatively a small group, but obviously ecologically and evolutionarily very important group. It includes biflagellae, that is, it contains two flagella, phytoplanktons, that is, they are what is chlorophyll containing, photosynthetics, that is why it is phytoplanktons, because it is free float. Okay, so they are biflagellate phytoplanktons. It can be found in both freshwater as well as marine habitats. And one of the examples we have included over here is Cryptomonas. Okay, very small microscopic organism. Now, next group we have is Chlorophyta, or we have already seen it as a green algae, which you have already studied in your botany classes. They are mostly aquatic, chlorophyll containing photosynthetic eukaryotes, and you can see there are plenty of different kinds of habitats where we can come across green algae. A few it is found in salt water, or it may be fresh water, even in damp soil. We can see some of them growing on other plants. We call them as epiphytic. Some on animals, we call it as epizoic. You may have come across these algae growing on the fur of like sloth. Okay, tree-toad sloth. So there it is epizoic. And some green algae, they also become a part of lichens, that is symbiotic association. They get into symbiotic association and form a part of the lichen. So there are plenty of examples and plenty of different diverse kinds of habitats they are found in. One of the examples of the algae, what you call green algae, or what we have named it as what you call, yeah. So Chlorophyta, we have Volvox, you have Chlamydomonas, Spirogyra, Acetabularia, plenty of examples which you have already studied in your lower classes. Okay, the next group, it is the last phylum under Protophyta, it is Rhodophyta, and we have already mentioned it as red algae. And red algae, they are multicellular, exclusively marine group of organisms. And one example which we have found here, it is Gelidium. There are plenty other examples like Porphyra, Palmaria, etc. And red algae, as we have already mentioned, they are completely marine organisms, and they are mostly lithophytes. Lithophytes in the sense plants growing on rocks or such kind of substratum. Okay, and a few representatives are epiphytes as well. Okay, so they are photosynthetic. Even though they are photosynthetic, it is not so extensive as in the case of what you call green algae. Okay, so these are a few examples of Rhodophyta. We have seen Gelidium, we have what you call Porphyra, we have Palmaria. Okay, what is the significance of these Rhodophytes? We can see that some these red algae, they become a part of the corals. Okay, reef building Rhodophytes, that is, they help in building up of coral reefs. So what they do is they absorb the calcium from the seawater and they deposit it in the form of calcium carbonate over the walls of the corals. Okay, so they actually build up the coral reef, and hence they are referred as a reef building rhodophyte. And these reef building the red algae, they are very important in the formation of coral-like calcareous deposits. Okay, coral atolls and limestone rocks, etc. For the formation of these structures like limestone rocks and coral atolls, these reef building rhodophytes play a very important role. Okay, So the significance of red algae lies in that. Okay, now the next group, it is Protozoa. We have almost like 10 what you call phyla coming under that, and we'll be looking into in detail in the next presentation.